I'm at the West Australian Livestock Research Council Livestock Matters Forum for 2025, and I'm talking to Pat Hutchinson about the new beef sustainability framework that's been out for a couple of years. Pat, how are you?
Good, thanks. Very well.
Mate, you made some very good points about sustainability, particularly in beef and particularly in lamb, that we're already doing a lot towards sustainability. It's just not recognised enough.
Yeah, I think that clearly, Tim, what we're working with now is that there's a huge amount that's already been done in research, been done through company programs, been done through standards, been done even through regulation. And rather than try to think that we have to reinvent a wheel, the Australian Beef Sustainability Frameworks program and the work that we do is all about us then starting to review those programs, put them into the framework, and then be able to then go out and advocate against that to show, here's everything that we're doing with sustainability, this is what sustainability means for the industry, and then most importantly, here's how we're actually achieving it.
What's the importance of having the sustainability framework for markets?
It allows us an opportunity to amplify the work that's being done so as that we don't then start to have sometimes ignorant questions, sometimes questions that are based maybe around the implementation of non-tariff barriers in our markets, or combinations of those. What we need to be doing is showing that the whole chain, this is a beef sustainability whole of chain program that we are reviewing. We set metrics against it. We do our research around materiality. We ensure that we go out there and have our structure in place so that we can then say, right, here's all the research that we do. And in my talk today, I talked very simply about the WA research process that we go through already. That allows us an opportunity to then elevate the WA beef supply chain has been tremendously sustainable. There's always going to have to be gaps, and there's always going to have to be more work that we need to do. But it's not just about environment, it's also about people, it's about animals, and it's about profitability markets.
Now, you made the strong point that we have to defend our markets, and we've already got a very sustainable industry. You reckon that the beef industry is one of the most sustainable out there?
Absolutely. I mean, our processing sector, it takes that raw material that gets provided to it by farmers and feedlotters, it disassembles them, it sells all the parts. And all of those parts have value. I mean, as I said in the talk, paunch material gets given to put into worm farms. There's a cyclical nature by which that we do things. The amount of work that we do in areas of the value add parts, collagen, areas that we use in medicinal process, red and white blood cells, all of these sorts of things that we utilise, not just the cuts of beef that people know. And all that sustainability, our ability to be able to use all those products comes from the fact that we're sitting out in properties like this today who are underpinning and utilising the best technology that they can to be able to provide it to us. There's plenty of places around the world where you can't harvest offal because they've got disease, or they've got parasites, or they've got things of that nature. The sustainability process, by which you're also looking after the health and welfare of animals, ensures that then that's not going to happen. It then allows us to then sustainably harvest that product and sell that product for consumption.
The human element of sustainability is really important in farming as well. There are a lot of small producers that are becoming overwhelmed by regulatory requirements and reporting. How important is it for sustainability of farming moving forward that small producers are better supported without having to report on things that they're already doing?
I think that the key thing is that, like any part of our life, people, regulators, etc., are asking questions. So we need to be able to provide answers. The key thing is say what you do and prove what you say. So I think small, medium, or large producers have an ability through what they're already doing to have the mechanisms like the ABSF, like livestock production assurance, like vendor declarations, like other things like that, to be able to say what they do, and their records that they keep allow them to prove what they say. So I think when it then comes to broader regulations from a a local, state and federal government, or in fact, overseas markets. We need to be using these programs as ways of which to say, here's the empirical evidence about what's already being done. But you'll never get away from the fact that there is going to be more regulation. You own an asset, 10 acres, 10,000, 10 million. You're owning that asset. That asset is underpinned, and you have responsibilities with that asset. That's going to always occur. The key thing for the Australian Beef Sustainability Framework is in the areas that we are working on, representing, helping advise on better research and development, better outcomes for all the participants, is part of that is to ensure that we're not reinventing the wheel for farmers.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that, mate, and I hope that your advocacy role continues to think of the small farmers as well, and keeping the paperwork down, the profitability up.
Yep.
Cheers, mate. Thanks you very much.
No worries, Tim.
If you want to find out more, check the link in the description. If you like this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and send it to someone else who needs to know that we have the most sustainable beef product in the world.